Okay, welcome to The Stage, the Audience. We're going to listen or read an account, and then after we will take a visualization exercise. You might want to listen or read this one time through, and then maybe do it again to tack on the exercise to get the most out of it. I'll begin in reading you the account. I put a quote in front of the account that says, "Sometimes the light's all shining on me, other times I can barely see." Pretty infamous quote from the Grateful Dead, and I find this to be pretty related to what we will be talking about here. Here is the account. After navigating a crowded lobby filled with people trying to slow my progress, I find the door and enter the back of the theater. The seats are filled to capacity, and I must make my way to the stage. A single spotlight illuminates the empty stage. I know that's where I must go. As I make my way toward the stage down the aisle, the audience members seem mixed in their expectations of the show. Some are relaxed and eager, some neutral and hard to read, and others scowl as if they'd rather be somewhere else. I know in my heart, my soul, I must keep moving forward, but sometimes a glance from the audience stops me. I take pause, slowed by the aura of judgment of the audience members who feel I might waste their time. Their time would be better spent elsewhere, only to be reinforced by an encouraging glance of another who has come to hear what I have to say as I continue on. As I lift my foot to the first step to the stage, I hear a voice call from behind, "Hey, where do you think you're going?" I continue up the steps, but slowed, my head lowered and cautious. "I'm talking to you there, trying to be the center of attention." I stop at the top step and turn. "You don't belong up there." I stand and see a cloaked figure who has stood from the back row. I've seen him before. We have been here before. Many times before, in the subtle spill of light, not yet to the spotlight. I have stopped, lowered my head meekly, and descended the stairs while the audience looks on. Some of their faces look satisfied that I stepped down, while others, few others, look disappointed. However, I notice the more times I have chosen to step down from the stage, it seems less of the audience looks relieved, and more of them confused, disappointed, and perhaps even a glimmer of encouragement. But I step down regardless. The voice resounds off the walls of the house of the theater as the figure slowly moves up the aisle towards me. "You've no right to be on the stage. Take a seat, or better yet, leave the theater." With each sentence that cuts, the voice closes in. I can start to make out the features of the face of the body that is this critiquing voice is coming from. A figure I recognize. We've been here before, many times before. I turn my back, and the voice shouts, "Don't you dare turn your back on me." The last time I was here, I turned back to face the voice, but not today. Today, I ignore the bellows and step onto the foot of the stage. I notice a call from the voice, but seemingly weaker, with a crackle. I walk toward the spotlight, and the voice and the figure retreat up the aisle. I watch before fully stepping into the spotlight. I do not divert my eyes from this character. I ensure that I command the stage, and the cloaked figure, now weakened by my commanding presence, has found the back of the theater. We both pause. The figure turns to look at me, and I stand tall and confidently nod. Goodbye. As I step fully into the spotlight and feel the warmth of the light, I listen to the audience that wraps me in a hug of applause. So, this is the account, and you can go back and listen to that. This is a story I had told years ago on social media when We occasionally feel that the world is making the choices for us. And how do we, with all of these mixed um, audience members, how do we find ourselves and how do we find our own spotlight? And it is tricky and it is challenging, and it takes a lot of bravery to step into that spotlight. With all of that said, your exercise here is to listen or read the above account with yourself as the main character. And as you find yourself moving into the spotlight in the account, blink your eyes closed and find yourself on the stage. Feel the light on your face, and if it is safe to do so with your eyes closed, take a step forward with your right foot and raise your arms high over your head in a triumphant V. This is one of the power poses. Stand here, physically in your pose, visualizing the audience, and celebrate your success of overcoming your cloaked figure obstacle. Now, your cloaked figure obstacle can be whatever it needs to be or whatever it has been for you. We put that into a cloaked figure. And, the cloaked figure that stands up from the back of the audience is always going to be sort of there until you tell it to leave. Right? And sometimes, as we see when we go up those stairs, it's uncomfortable. People are looking at you. They have an expectation of what you're going to do, what you're supposed to do. And that's a tricky word. I don't always like that supposed to word because it doesn't always come from us, it comes from others. So with all of these people looking at you, you've got to kind of, react to somebody calling you out and calling you out when everybody's looking at you. And how are you going to respond to that? And where's the power? Where's the control? And you're probably not going to find yourself into the spotlight and feeling fully into that power pose until you can find the power and the control. So go through the account as many times as you need. The account itself tells you that you've been here before many times. So you might actually want to go through the account many times and understand where you have stepped down from the stage and how that made you feel. And only do that piece of this exercise if you confidently think that you can get back up on that stage, because we don't want to reinforce coming down from the stage. We don't want to give more power to the cloaked figure than it already has. So be mindful in the things that you reinforce in your visualization. If you're going through it like football watches films of the game on Monday, if you are going through this and you're trying to figure out where do I improve, then do. If you think you're going to get stuck and become sullen in that, do not do that piece. Follow the account and follow yourself to your power pose and stay more in your power pose. You might need to repeat that piece of it very frequently, daily. The power pose is something that when I was in school, say as a theater major, one of the things my modern dance teacher would have us do at the end of the class was to take space. And we would use this power pose, stepping forward with our right foot, putting our arms up over the head in a victorious, triumphant V, with our heads lifted, our chests raised in a very powerful and confident posture, and stand there and visualize our audience looking at us and applauding. And it's a powerful moment. And it doesn't matter what happened a minute before, and it doesn't matter what's going to happen a minute later. But you give yourself the feeling of that power in the pose and in that visualization. And that's what we'll do here. So enjoy your exercise and enjoy your power pose.